Alright, we're going to continue on. Last tape got a little bit too long. You know, kind of like a lot of talking, but I got to walk it through because my mans need to explain it. So I'm doing it. So you guys got to bear with me. Okay? I've never heard of a class when, you know, one person had a question that, oh, it's an uproar now. Okay? And I'm a classmate too. So let's not get it fucked up. I'm just helping out. I pass my notes around. I share them with everyone. This is non-discriminate. Alright, this information is for everyone that has Blofeld. Alright, so slow it down to 2. Now we're on cell phone wavelength. Man, it's just loud. I shouldn't have had it that loud. I'm sorry, but we're not running through filters too much, have you? Whew. We just like doing some subtractive because we took the cutoff down. Or additive anyway. Because now it's coming up. Adding into it. So this is the LFO spinning. A lot more movement variation when there's key tracking on it. What one must have to realize though is you gotta keep it in tune. So 14 would be the next octave up from 2, right? Because you know octaves and semitones, we know that this stuff, it goes by 12s. That's how it goes. Semitone, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, what back to octave, which would be 12. Or 1 again, whatever, okay? You guys know what I'm saying, so it goes by 12s. 2, 14, you know what I'm saying? 26, 38, 50, 62, 74, 86, 98, 110, 122. 122 is the 8-foot oscillation. Now, if you're not screwing around, okay, let's go to nit patch again. Let's do some subtractive. We'll just keep the saw on. Now, you guys are talking LFOs. Okay, what is it doing? Set to 7, magic number, single cycle. Start phrase is 0. Alright, leave the key tracking at 0, right? Slip of the knob. Now, you go negative, this is what happens. What you have to realize is that this number 127 and 127 on the cutoff, you have to match that up to pulse with as well. If your cutoff is at 127 and you have this at negative 64, what is happening? The filter is going down. So as the alpha spins, you have to think as when it spins, you have to think of this. It's going like that. It's like, and it's going to gradually come back up if you hold it. But you have to visualize it though, see? Listen. So it's going, wow. It's going all the way down here. And that's exactly what it's doing. I promise you this. Listen. That's to the speed. Now I go faster. See, it's faster. It's going. I'm sorry. I have to do this. I'm just trying to explain it. And as to with any other shape, as you know, square would be an immediate. It's like step, click, and then immediately off, and then immediately on. There is no in between because squares click, 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 click. You know what I mean? It starts. It just has the. You know what I'm talking about, man. Because like if I put it on here, look, listen, look. See what I mean? Click, 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 click. It starts clicking. So. But square is an immediate a high or a low. It's going to go all the way down to 0 and then up to maximum. 0 to maximum. Because we know that, if you look at squared, what's up here? It's 0. If you're at negative 64, that's what it's going to go. It's going to go from here to there. And this is how it works. So that's how the LFOs work as far as the filters. Now what you have to understand, mod source, modulation source, this is geared toward strictly the filter cut off amount. That is what it's modulating. So if you set an LFO here, and however you have it set up is how that's going to behave as far as the cutoff of the filter. That's how that's performed, or that is how that behaves in that manner. Now in the opposite of inversion, you would have to take the filter down to 0, because if we were at cutoff, see, and then it starts. Still click, 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 right? I almost get a horn early. A synth horn. See, physically modeling instruments isn't just done acoustically, dude. You can physically model other synthesizers. You can physically model electric instruments and bata bata. It doesn't just work for acoustics. Acoustic instruments are more harder to program and more intricate to program because they were made by men. And acoustic instruments, even electronic instruments, they're made with human imperfection. Every time you slam a hammer on a piano key, everything starts to gradually become out of tuning. You have to go in there and you have to tune it over a certain amount of key presses or slams or whatnot. The same thing with the guitar. You know, guitarists know this as well as I'm saying this, and I'm not a guitar person. I know that as you guys play those strings, you have to retighten them after so long because you're pulling on something which is holding it, which actually turns as there's torque. They use the keys to tighten the strings, and they puts it back in tune. Because acoustic instruments, they naturally drift out of tune over time. That is how it works. I don't know why that is, but that's how it works. I don't think so much for like pipe organs because they cut the pipes to certain lengths, and the lengths and the air and all that, like, you know, the physical proportions of the pipes and the way that the air is pushed through the pipes by the wind chamber and all that yata stuff. That, you know, we know that certain lengths produce certain tones and octaves and this, that, and intervals like perfect fourths and fifths and stuff like that. So that I don't really think organs really get out of tune that much, but I think they can, like if the pipe has another hole in it or something is wrong with it because it's not perfect anymore. You know, harps, they get out of tune. You have to tighten those and retighten them and da-da-da-da-da. Okay, violins, all that shit, because the cellos, the upright bass, the guitar, all that shit, the electric bass, all that shit needs to be retightened because it's an acoustic instrument. You know, and they have those wheels and those keys, the things that bring it into tightness, or your string might be out of, you know, you might need to replace a string, stuff like that. So, you know, but physical modeling, you guys have to understand, is not just acoustic instruments. It can be electronic. You can, I want to model a Moog. You have to understand how the sound is behaving. You have to understand resonance and the mathematics of it all is what you have to understand. The mathematics. I did say the mathematics. Okay, you know, have to say it like that. See? So this is how the filter's working. Now, okay, for my man Richter, filters. Let's break down the filters. Low pass filters only allow low frequencies to pass through. See? High still passing? Well. Now, as you open it up, the higher frequencies come through. I know you guys hear that. So He just wanted me to explain filters and stuff like that. So that's how that low pass works. The high pass is the inversion of that. It allows high frequencies to go through and it starts to attenuate the low end. High pass filtering is often used in mixing a lot because they try to even out and take out the energy, some boominess out of certain tracks because the boominess adds up in the headroom. If you guys are aware of mixing and mastering and bata bata, you understand that there's a thing called headroom that needs to be considered. And even when you're producing and shit, whatever you're doing, you need to consider headroom anyway. So that's what that high pass filtering stuff does. Notch filter is the specific frequency that's like this. That is where it is attenuated. All this is coming through. Alright? Yes, you can make a notch filter resonate. You have to turn the resonance up. And actually how that would look would be like this. We'll put that on the paper. You see notch sitting right there. We'll have to draw this on the diagram. I'm sorry I had to do it. If a notch filter looks like this, and then you turn up the resonance, then it would look like this. And do this shit on the fly, man. Wie im Flug. Entschuldigung. Please excuse me. Bitte. Okay, that's the notch filter. This is what happens when you take the notch filter and you turn the resonance up. It's kind of like flicking someone off and giving them the middle finger. Alright, so now to comb plus and comb minus. Alright, it is like a delay, and it also is a filter that combs through frequencies. Like if you run noise through a comb filter on a previous episode, you guys see that you can make an acoustic piano in Yatmashata, right? But the comb plus and the comb minus responds to positive frequency and negative. So let's get into that. So right here, we'll pull up in the knit patch, we'll pull up the comb filter, key tracking on 100. We'll pull comb plus up, we'll pull the resonance up, bring it up to like 84. Take that cut down to 59. We are going to throw in a positive, the trapezoid phase. Take the pulse width to 0. We're going to use the LFO to move it. We're going to set the LFO up, straight up envelope. Speed is 7, sine wave, start is 0. Start phase 0, key track is 0. You know what we do. It's redundant bullshit. Okay? I love to teach it and help you guys understand it. I love this shit. Absolutely. Okay, now, so the comb filter is on. Now we have this. Ooh, very loud, excuse me. Oops, slipping loud. Hear that? Now it's responding to the positive note because I already showed you. Okay, this is the trapezoid. This is negative. If I was doing the math and I did it negative, this is what it will come out to. So that almost looks like a pulse on the EKG. Beep beep. Your heartbeat, right? Now the LFO is moving it from this to this. It's going up and down. So it's going through the cycles. That's what you hear. But the comb filter is also bringing out the peaks in that frequency range response because it's the comb filter. It combs through an entire frequency range at specific parts. It's kind of like a resonator. But if we're using a resonator and a comb filter, you know that's a deadly combination on this box. I mean, we get into quantum territory early because we have partials in which we control and move and spread and bata, right? We can control how high and how much they do and move all the movement and, you know, and yata mashata, right? So let's bring it down to the negative triangle, right? 3. Oops. These knobs are slippy anymore. I think it's because I've been using it too much. Here's the negative. Now if I turn it back to positive on it, you'll hear it will sound a little different. Let's turn the trapezoid on. Turn it back up. You hear how it's louder because it has a positive response, but it's still going through the negative comb filter. It just I mean, I'm not really quite sure how. It's like kind of like a delay. It's like a delay and like a resonator, and it like combs through frequencies. I know that if you use noise with a comb filter, you can make we've seen a numerous amount of resources when it comes to acoustic instrumentation, right? Because we use the keys to the noise, ring modulation, frequency, the comb filtering, and etc. And that's how all this stuff has to go into play. You have to bring it all together as a collective. Everything has to coagulate in the middle. You know, you have to make everything come together. See, now if you turn it down, see? See? Starts making like resonance. Feedback. See, we're using positive and a positive. Now, that's just one oscillator. There's no phase modulation going on because I didn't bring the two in or none of that. This is just one and a comb filter, and that's the phase engine. You can get that shit for the low, don't you know? And you put this in there. Imagine running. Look, you could do it though. You don't have to imagine it, but imagine if you did have it in your box and you ran a pulse width wave or play table inverted and got the stepping and stuttering. You got to get back to them old episodes, man. That I just probably did maybe a little bit ago, like a month ago or something. I don't know how long ago it was. I get into the trance, I enter. All right, I do this shit for y'all. I do this for me too, but I do it selflessly though for y'all. Okay? Better believe it. Bet your ass on it. I don't want y'all out here get misled by this thing. This thing is man, bad box. So I guess that's what pretty much sum up the filters. Now PPG also like I told you on the boom box, you cannot use comb or PPG as the filter 2 in the boom box and the serial because it will negate any filter FM or any FM that you could try to apply to it. It will negate that. I'm telling you that right there. Unless you might put oscillator 1 modulation in on the drive slot and then crank that up and then try to use oscillator as the FM source. You know what? Let's try that out. I never even thought about that. Let's turn it to PPG. PPG is a resonant filter from the PPG synth. My homie Richter, that's from the. I know you know about the PPG. You probably had it, you know. So yeah. So let's turn drive curve on. Oscillator 1 mod. FM source. Let's see if it does it. I don't know. The only way to really see is to bypass this thing. Turns down to here. Bypass. Now let's turn it on smart. It does add something, man. If you use so if you use oscillator one modulation and then drive shift, but you have to sacrifice, as you see, you sacrifice so much volume. I wonder what happens if I turn the comb back on. Maybe it's replenished. Yeah, man. So that's how that works, man. Positive and negative frequency response. Bring the negative back in there real quick. I'm going to wrap this tape up. It's getting long. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. But I'm trying to explain some stuff for my homies because they need to know this. And they're your homies too because we are all in this together, right? I thought we all use Blofelds. Yeah, this tape's getting long. I don't want to keep doing this, but I'm pretty sure you guys catch my drift. If you use this as a PPG, you're gonna turn it up higher end because it's a resonant filter, and you're gonna need a little bit of oscillator power to provoke it, and or cone filter. If you are using drive, which would be the poor man's drive, closed down envelope, the boombox theory, and setting up different types of radios. This would conclude this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I didn't mean to ramble so much and talk and make it so long, but it can't be helped sometimes. I'll catch you on the flip.